Hello everyone, we are back for week 3 recap of The Artist Way and a little preview into week 4. I'm just going to start sharing the small little clips that I have, the vlog material that I accumulated during this week. It was not much. I really wanted to check in a little bit more, but it is what it is. We're rolling with the punches. We're not trying to punish ourselves for not having this perfect experience, because that would, I feel, defeat The Artist Way, which is another reason why I wanted to do this, because I was challenging myself to not be perfect, which is very funny because this entire process, the second time around, has been everything but. Spoiler alert, I didn't do my artist date. That would have made past me feel like I'm failing at this shit so hard. And I know I've said that in previous videos, but it's just like, I don't want to make it a trend. However, I want to pat myself on the back for not being brutal with myself, for not being as meticulous with the process like I was the first time around. Anyways, I feel like I'm getting into a rant, and this was just supposed to be a tiny little intro. I'm going to go ahead and just show you guys the little vlogging that I was able to do this week, and then I'll talk about it after. So today is the second day of the third week. I'm doing my morning pages, and I'm about to stop because I need to finish getting ready and pack up some stuff, get some herbs, and be on my jolly way to do some client work. Today's Saturday. I have 2 limpias and a tarot reading at the same house, which is ideal. I don't really like traveling if it's just one thing. I mean, I will charge a travel fee if I have to do that, but I won't travel for a tarot reading. I'll just do those virtually. But if it's someone that's already getting other services, then I can do the tarot reading there. I feel like it would be ridiculous to not do that. But yeah, that's my plans for the day. I am going to be traveling out of the city for this. It's not a far drive, it's just a drive through the canyon that's like local here. But I don't know, I was kind of thinking about taking you guys with me, but I'm not really going to be able to record when I'm there. So then I'm like, well, how does that even work? And I don't know, I think I was just overthinking it. Maybe I'll just talk about things before and after, and then see how that goes. And then from there, I'll decide whether I keep it as content or not. So I'm on my way now. I stopped at a gas station because my partner wanted to get some energy drink. He loves that shit. I'm going to drop him off at his house, and then I'm going to head straight to the job site. I feel like I was going to say something else. I was thinking about sharing how I gathered my herbs from my garden that I use for the barridas, which is like herbal sweeping, I guess. It just sounds so funny in English to me, so I guess that's what it's called. It's like a sweeping you're doing with the herbs, and then you pick those based on their correspondences, but you choose the herbs and their correspondences based on the need of the client, right? Okay, so my nails are jacked up, but it is what it is. I'm gonna probably do a new set. I don't know if I'll have time tomorrow, but I'm gonna make it part of like my, it's not going to be an artist date, but just like expressing my creativity through my nails, which is a big part of how I can get away with expressing my creativity without feeling like, I don't know, without feeling like I feel like when it comes to expressing my creativity and me seeing myself as an artist, I try to double it, like, or put it alongside being productive. And so doing my nails has become a like necessity for me, instead of like an extra thing. So if I can say that I can allow myself to be a little bit artistic with my nails, then I can tick 2 boxes. I don't even know if that made sense, but it doesn't matter. That's not what I'm trying to show you guys right now. The Artist Way, the first week, it has an exercise, or no, I guess technically it's a task, encouraging you to go out and do something that your inner child or your inner artist would like to do. And that is what I'm trying to get to. So I went to Miniso. That was not planned, but I was there for my niece, right? That's my niece, right? And I bought a few things that I was not planning on buying, but I don't know, I feel like it's such a cliche to say I'm a Kuromi fan, because Kuromi is huge, especially for like alt girls. And I personally never thought that I would be buying things like this for myself. And I only allowed myself to indulge in this with the excuse of the artist way. So instead of just taking everything out, let me just show you. This is the big one. I think I'll save that one for last. Let's start with the small item. So the first thing that I got was this Kuromi portable mirror. I typically just use the compacts that come with the powder that I buy, but I want to have one all the time that isn't like covered in makeup, and it wasn't expensive. So I thought this was like really cute. And then she's holding tarot cards, so you know I had to. So that's like the first thing that I got. Now we're getting into like the extra fun stuff. Let's start with the smaller box. So I got me, what do you even call these? Like little mystery boxes or something? Okay, so one thing about me is I see this box and I almost don't want to open it because it looks too cute. And my inner perfectionist is like, you're gonna fuck up this work of art? But you know, we're here for this. So you guys are gonna be my witnesses as I unbox these cute little things. And this is something that if I would have been able to do this, not even for myself, if my parents would have done this for me as a kid, I probably would have shat my pants.
That tells you which one it is.
Yeah, I know.
You need to open the package.
I know, but I just got, okay.
Don't do
okay,
that.
I spoiled it for myself, I guess. But anyways.
What is it?
Oh, I think I dropped her
Crown?
little... She's so cute. I dropped her little teacup. She is inspiration tea. So if I'm feeling uninspired... Yeah, this little card that tells me who it was. So I knew who it was.
We needed a tea inspiration.
Yeah, this is giving us tea inspiration since we create tea. And this is her little tea.
Oh, that's cute.
My sister's in the room here, just in case you guys didn't pick up on that.
Hello, mate.
You want to hold her? You want to hold her carefully, gingerly?
Can I put her little tea on her hand?
Yeah, go ahead. But yeah, I picked the boxes that I knew were going to give me a Kuromi that no matter what it came out, I was going to like. Because there was so many of these, okay? And these are the first, like, boxes I ever open. I've seen people, like, open these, but I'm not also, like, into it like that to where I'm watching tons of people open these. So yeah, this was, like, a big deal. Like, it's not even something that I'm super into, which would kind of justify it, like a tarot deck, right? And it's like, these don't really have a purpose other than just to bring me a little bit of joy. And that's something that my inner child needs more of, right? And not saying that you have to spend money to do, not saying that you have to spend money all the time to do these kinds of things. But okay, I won't spoil this one. Oh man, this one. This one literally is the witch's feast. Like, how could I not? Okay, I'm not looking, I'm not looking.
Don't look. What is it?
This one is so cute.
Little Jester?
No. This one is... The name is Way? Like, here, hold him real quick, or her, or it. It comes with, like, other stuff.
Yeah, it has something right here that you put it underneath.
I want to say it's Way. Yeah, it is Way, because it's holding a lantern, so, like, Way shower. Oh, it's kind of like a little hermit. Look, that's its little lantern. There's a little lantern right there.
Let me put it together so you can...
Yeah, put it together. Here's a little... What is this? This goes on top like a hat.
That's cute.
So we had a minor glitch. As I was putting on her hat, she's a little witch. As I was putting on her hat, I ended up snapping the lantern out of its little hand here. And the irony is that this is the way, right? Supposed to show the way. And then we lost the light that's supposed to help it show the way. But anyways, we're gonna move on. I'll find it during the daytime. Okay, this is the next one. I was not even showing. So not used to doing this. So this one is more like magic themed, but also right up my alley. So I had to get it. And I love the Kuromi that's themed with blues and purples as opposed to the pink. I don't hate the pink. It's just not my favorite. And then these are like the options. Okay, so let's see what we got. Oh, don't wanna. This is like.
What the hell? Open it. Open it.
Okay. I'm not looking inside. Okay. Oh, this is so cute. It's half black and half blue.
Do you have little pants that are lined?
No.
No.
Oh, I don't know if they would consider those ones. It has a cape in the back.
Oh, is that the
Oh, it's so
Phantom?
cute.
Is that Phantom cards?
Maybe.
I think it's Phantom cards.
This is Mirror Reflection Devil.
Oh, really?
Okay, this is the mirror. Okay, so I'm almost afraid of setting this up because of, you know, recent traumas. You want to set it up for me?
Yes.
Here. Yeah, that was the most expensive one and like also the biggest one. I love the little cards that it comes with too. It's so cute. Like everything about it is so cute to me.
Is the blue go in the front or the other?
The blue, I believe that comes off or peels off, and that's the mirror. But yeah, I ended up getting 3 Kuromis total. And this is something that in the past I would have said, oh, this is so wasteful. What's the point of this? And the point of it is the small joy that you get, right? And the artist way, this is the second time that I'm doing it. Like I've said that like 1,000 times. But the artist way ignites that permission that a lot of times I too easily shut down. Oh, that's so cute. Okay. That's like a little mirror. Okay, that's my ring light, right? But like that's the little mirror. And then, because Mirror Reflection Devil. Oh, that's so cute. I like to call it Little Handsome Devil. Oh, that's so cute. I love this little setup. I love it. I was doing the detective work exercise for week 3, which I almost completely forgot to do. It's so cool to be able to look back. Like I'm writing my first impression first, and then I'm going back and I'm seeing what I wrote when I did the artist way the first time. And it's so cool to see most of my answers have changed, which means a couple of different things. But there's only a few that haven't, and it really also speaks to like where my heart lies, which is also very affirming. I did want to comment though, because obviously I have a lot of comments, but the main comment I wanted to make was I wrote down that if I wasn't so stingy, I would buy my artist. And I wrote down acrylic pens, and those are acrylic pens, so I now have them. The funny thing though is my friend gave me those, but before the artist way, I don't even know that I ever even thought about acrylic pens. I just found it interesting that it came to me on a whim when I read that prompt that first time that I did the artist way, and I ended up not even having to buy them for myself. But the simple act that I realized I wanted them kind of like set that into motion. And then, and this is related to this same exercise, I was thinking that because in this chapter, the week 3 recovery of a sense of power, or recovering a sense of power, it also is encouraging you to buy something for yourself. Like even if it's just a thermos that you really like for your commute to work, things like that. And for me, it always, at least recently, maybe for the past few years, it tends to be around books and tarot. Mainly tarot. Now, and of course, I always have like tons of decks that I want that are like a maybe, an if, or when I have this much more money, or if somebody's asking me, bless you, if somebody's asking me oh, I want to give you something, or I want to give you a gift, or so and so's thinking of giving you a gift. What should I direct them to? I can tell, okay, give me this deck, or this is a list of decks that I want, or whatever, whatever. I had this specific deck on and off my want list for maybe about almost a year, but it wasn't like high on the list, so that's why like I was like, it doesn't matter. But I will do my best to not purchase anything that is created by AI or even AI assisted tarot decks. And it's because of the times we're living in, honestly, because I used to be so casual and nonchalant about what I would buy, which is also kind of bad, because if I wanted it, I would just buy it and I wouldn't think too much about it if I had the money. And that has changed dramatically for me within the last few years. But just so you know where I stand, and if you're on my Instagram, you probably already know where I stand, because I make it a point to repost content that speaks to my politics when it comes to that and a bunch of other things. Anyways, it's the Hieronymus Bosch tarot deck. And I was going to buy this deck for myself finally. Okay, here's just the little booklet, because I keep it in a bag now. It just goes so pretty with the deck. Yeah, so I was like, I'm going to get that for myself. You know, this week says to treat yourself. I'm going to treat myself. I treat myself kind of often, though. So that's not something I personally struggle with. And maybe that's going to change when I have kids, whenever I decide that I'm going to bite the bullet on that. But I was like, I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to get that deck. And when I decided that, just like when I realized that I wanted the acrylic pens, the opportunity presented itself for someone to buy it for me. So I have it, but it was a gift. And I only saw this trend because I decided to go back and make sure that I did this exercise. And then I looked at my past answers and I made these comparisons, these connections. And I just think that's what's so beautiful about repeating certain path working that you may be doing, or certain programs, classes, courses, you know, because I mean, you already know, you know, it's just this magic that happens when you go through something. I don't even want to say for the second or third or fourth time, but just when you go through something in a different phase of your life, or in a different era, or with different knowledge, or with a different lens, it just brings so much more appreciation for also doing something that you've already done. I think that it's important to sit down and talk about that for a little bit, which is why I'm doing it, in an age where we're constantly looking for novelty and looking for it in a place that we feel we've never been before, when it's not a requirement all the time. You can definitely find, you know, this is the whole idea of finding magic in the mundane. It's mundane because we know it. It's not mundane because it's boring, because it lacks magic, even though a lot of the times that's the reason that term is used. When we say, oh, you know, in the mundane sense, and when we say that, a lot of the times we're explicitly trying to leave out magic in case of like understanding or being understood by the audience that we're speaking to. I don't know. It was just something that I wanted to talk about, obviously. But I have a lot of things to do today, so I'm going to pull out of this. I need to get my nails done. I was telling my sister, I was like, bro, look at my hands. They look like little kid hands. I'm not opposed to that. I think they look cute. But they don't look like my hands. Little baby hands. I'm like, oh my gosh, this little hand. It looks so funny. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna go do my nails. One down. 9 more to go. So that was my week 3. Let's go into answering the review questions. So per usual, the review starts with asking, did we do our artist pages every day? Another disappointment here. I did not. I straight up didn't even do artist pages one day. And then I have it like written down for my own like personal like data that I like to keep, because I'm keeping track of when I'm short on pages and when I'm missing pages, and I'm tallying it up with the hopes that I'm going to actually make that up at some point. I don't know how that's gonna go. Anyways, there was one day out of all of the days, the 7 days, that I did not, I had a burp there, that I did not do the pages, like, at all. And then there were, like, I think 2 to 3 days where I did about half of the amount of pages required. However, was it yesterday or the day before? I went over my pages, and then I had to come back and journal like an extra 2 because of like something that I was going through. So I'm like, okay, I am able to make up some pages, but I don't know if I'll be able to make up all the ones that I've missed. It's like this like loose rule or idea that I'm gonna somehow be able to make them up. I say loose because I'm not holding myself to it. Like, it's not an actual goal, but it's like, it would be nice if you could, but if you don't, it's okay. And I also think it's interesting that I see it this way because that's very much also not in my normal nature. I think it shows a lot of growth on my part because it's just so far from where I used to be and how I used to perceive things and how tightly I would clutch to rules. Let's proceed. We were talking about doing artist pages. I already talked about that. The second question is about the artist date. I didn't do it. Plain and simple. The long weekend kind of messed me up because I try to make the artist dates be completely apart from the time that I may have to spend with my loved ones. That's almost always been a priority. If I have possible like extra time with them, I will prioritize that. I think that's something that maybe most of us feel as we get older, as we see like our loved ones getting older as well, and we realize that time is just passing us by, and before we know it, we're gonna be, you know, also saying goodbye. So prioritizing time with them has become an even higher priority than it used to be. I think I also regret not spending more time with them during the time that I was hermiting hard due to working on my degree. And I feel like I want to make up for that. So it was either a couple of different times. It was either hang out with my partner, my sister, my parents, a friend, or do the artist date. And I chose them every single time. So I don't have any regrets about that. The third question in this week's check-in was, did I experience any synchronicities? And I did quite a few. I was already experiencing them before. I think I mentioned this in one of the videos. You know, as a witch, as witches, as spiritual witchy peeps, we stay looking for those synchronicities. We sometimes have a very big sway, a very dominant hand in creating synchronicities, which coincide with what we're trying to bring forth with our magic. So let's talk about week 4. Week 4 is about recovering a sense of integrity. And this is a very short read compared to like the other week's chapters, but it starts off perfectly. Honest changes. Working with the morning pages, we begin to sort through the differences between our real feelings, which are often secret, and our official feelings, those on the record for public display. Official feelings are often indicated by the phrase, I feel okay about the, and then whatever it could be, and usually it's something big, like the job loss, her dating someone else, my dad's death, you know, those are the examples she gives. And the point of her saying this in the beginning is because she's going to continue to convince you as to why you should be doing the morning pages, which I need to do more of. But it's basically her advocating for the morning pages and saying you may discover that you're going to be avoiding them if you're getting close to uncovering something you've been trying to hide from, or even if you've been really happy, you may not want to go into the morning pages because you're afraid of finding something in those pages that's going to take you out of that. So in this chapter, she also has us really thinking about why we're putting up with certain things and why we're holding on to, whether it be relationship situations, people, even items or articles of clothing, furniture, whatever, that isn't bringing us what we claim that we want out of life, or the life that we want. And then she goes on to say, you are your own promised land, your own new frontier. One of the clearest signals that something healthy is afoot is the impulse to weed out, sort through, and discard old clothes, papers, and belongings. I don't need this anymore, we say as we toss a low self-worth shirt into the giveaway pile. I'm sick of this broken down dresser and its 16 coats of paint as the dresser goes off to Goodwill. And this is like the theme, if you think about it, because when we're doing the Artist's Way pages, the morning pages, we're decluttering the mind so that the good stuff can come through. And the whole idea of let my spiritual counsel take care of the quality, I'll take care of the quantity, is the same thing. Morning pages, get rid of the gunk so the good stuff can come to the top. Then put things into practice and produce. Get your practice in and leave the quality in the hands of whatever the higher power is for you. So getting out, right, to get to the good stuff. And then right here, getting rid of the clutter, getting rid of the things you no longer want. Like I said before, whether it's people, whether it's situations, whether it's physical items, getting them out to allow for the good to come in. She also used this quote by Seneca, and I fucking love it. It goes, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." And as someone who had massive issues with unfreezing at times of great stress, that feels like very real and raw. Then she goes into the first exercise, and she does this quite a bit where she'll have us make lists of things. For example, this one's called Buried Dreams and Exercise. Number 1, list 5 hobbies that sound fun. Number 2, list 5 classes that sound fun. Number 3, list 5 things you personally would never do that sound fun, and etc., etc., etc. And a lot of the times she makes us do these exercises so we can see what some things that may be like hidden, like these hidden desires, hidden needs, repressed, whatever, so that we can actually start trying to do them. And this is just such a huge theme of the Artist's Way, to push us into things that we don't normally do, to push us into trying, period. But even more, trying things we've never tried before, trying things we say we're too busy for, trying things that we've made excuses for. Because once we start doing more of the things that we didn't allow ourselves to do before, we start loosening up and allowing for opportunity and possibility to be met. You never know who you're going to meet when you go to that paint and sip that you wanted to try for years but never had the courage to do so. You never know what your community is going to look like if you're always indoors and you don't even want to post on social media. Like, there's so many things you're just never going to know if you don't try to work in that direction, obviously. But if you can't even do that, a good way to start to even build up that courage is to do other things that aren't as like risky, and prove to yourself that you didn't die, right? And that you can continue to build off of that. It's about building the capacity. Then Ms. Julia Cameron says we are to go on reading deprivation this entire week. No reading. The first time that I read this in week 4, I was mad. Because for the longest time, I felt that it was very difficult for me to get into reading. Even though I was a bookworm at a very young age, I got into the whole, well, if I don't see a direct benefit from it, then I'm not going to do it. And when I was in school, I was already doing so much reading, I didn't want to do fun reading, right? So after I graduated, I wanted to get back into reading. And I kept trying and trying and trying. And then I finally started getting back into reading. And then I read this and I'm like, I just got back into my reading habit to where it's actually a habit. And you're telling me I'm not supposed to read. I also think about the time, the era that this book was written in, and social media wasn't a thing like it is now. So I think that not reading, reading deprivation, is fucking cake compared to social media deprivation. And I think that she would have said social media deprivation instead if she was to maybe rewrite it, even though they keep on coming up with new editions. But I don't know. I may be wrong on that, but I do think that that would be so much harder for most of us, right? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the reading deprivation, even though I really don't want to, especially because I'm so close to finishing a book series. And it's been such a long time that I've been able to say that, and I'm itching to finish it, but I got to follow this through. Also, at the rate that I've not been completing my morning pages and then having not done the artist date, I feel like I probably could have been writing more instead of reading also this week, to be honest. But that's like probably the hardest thing I think of this week. I guess the real mystery of week 4 is going to be, I'm not even going to say, will I make it to my artist date? I'm definitely going to make it to my artist date. I'm holding myself to that. I will be making it to my artist date, but the question, the biggest mystery is, will I finally make it to Botanical Gardens? I don't know. As long as I make it at least one time, then that's fine. But my last artist date, the fact that I went off path and found a different place to make my artist date at, I had a vantage point to the city and I was able to look down and see all of the possibility for other potential artist dates. And I was like, and this is all before I even reached the Botanical Gardens. The Botanical Gardens isn't even far. So I'm like, wow, I just feel like I've been missing out on so much that the neighboring cities that surround me have to offer. And this second time doing the artist way has really showed me that, because I don't even remember thinking that the first time I did it. And I'm like, that's crazy. So yeah, it's been interesting. It is getting quite late and I really do want to hurry up and upload this. And I feel like it's been such a hot mess, but this is real. This is what it is. So that's what I'm documenting. That's what's got to go up. And I think that's all I have to share. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. And I'll see you guys next week to recap on how the fuck week 4 went and how I'm planning on tackling week 5. Thanks for watching.